Good evening, everyone. I'm so sorry that I can't be there with you tonight. Unfortunately, I had a bit of a snafu with transportation, but I am there with you in spirit. So I'm really happy to be able to share with you some information on financial stability and mental health. I am an intuitive therapist and also an experiential coach, and I work with people to try and help them find ways to get to the heart of the matter, so to speak, or what are causing problems for them. But before we get into all the information, I thought we just might start out settling in a bit and clearing our minds. So if you could just find yourself a comfortable seat in the chair that you're in, I'm going to lead you through a really brief guided meditation or guided visualization. This is all about just trying to picture where you would like to be, or where you are, or where you've been. It's whatever it is for you. It's a way of centering, it's a way of focusing, and it's a way of getting ready to receive some information. So if you could just settle in for just a moment, close your eyes, and begin to breathe normally. Pay attention to your breathing. Notice the temperature of the air as you inhale and the temperature of the air as you exhale. Feel your body begin to relax. Feel the muscles in your face relax and release. Allow your shoulders to relax, your arms, your fingers. Feel the beating of your heart. And notice any sensations that may arise as a result. Feel your belly rise and fall with your breath. Feel your legs relax and your feet relax. Allow yourself to just breathe and be in this moment. Take notice of what you're feeling. Take notice of the thoughts and ideas that may arise in your mind when you think about finances, or when you even consider the idea of how your mental health may be impacting your pocketbook. For each of us, that will be different. And so as we begin to learn about not only how financial health and mental health are completely interrelated, but the impacts that it might be having on your life, try to remain in this state, relaxed and open, knowing all things are possible. So when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And let's start to take a look at that connection between physical health and mental health, right? So we have this kind of cycle going around. So if I'm worrying about money, then I'm probably impacting my mental health. I might be extra stressed out, right? Or I might be worrying about how I'm going to eat. So all these kind of things come about. And also, if I have poor mental health, it means it's going to be harder to manage my money simply because I'm not feeling like I'm in a good place. I'm not willing to embrace that or to think about it. And to be really honest, a lot of us have developed attitudes towards finances which impact us for the rest of our lives, especially women, right? So for many of us growing up in my generation, it was just on that cusp of women were going to be able to take care of themselves, right? So part of my problem with money when I started to emerge was, wow, how am I going to do this for myself? Those messages kept coming in my head of she needs somebody there to take care of her. She'll never be able to take care of herself, right? So how do we get rid of those stories that have kind of attached to us, those financial thoughts and ideas which don't serve us at all, so that we can kind of come into our own and learn to embrace abundance? So there are what we call money disorders, right? So there's money avoidance disorder, and that may have to do in the case of like financial denial. So I don't even want to think about money. Thinking about money drives me crazy, right? So I'm just going to pretend it's not there. I'm going to pretend my bills aren't there. I'm not going to check in my bank account. I'm just going to let things ride and know that everything's going to be okay. That might work for a few minutes, but after a few minutes, we may begin to realize that that's not really going to be helpful in the way that we're living our lives, right? And that's only going to have us spiral and get into more issues with money because we're finding out that bill collectors are coming after us, or we're bouncing checks, or things just aren't working for us because we didn't manage or budget our money in the meantime. Financial rejection is also that idea I was talking about before, with not accepting the idea that we can be successful, that we can be financially independent, right? Because we've held on to this idea for so long that we may need help, or we may not be able to do that. That sometimes it causes us to feel guilt or shame even if we're truly really successful. Imagine that, right? So if that's you, if you find yourself feeling badly because you're doing really well, I encourage you to meet with somebody, to talk to them, to try and work through those feelings that you've been holding on for so long so that you can really enjoy the abundance that you've created for yourself. There are also money worshiping disorders, right? So we have on the one side, we try to avoid it. On the other side, we try to embrace it, right? So it's this idea of hoarding. I'm just going to bring in as much as I can, and I'm going to hang on to it, and I'm not going to let it go, right? Well, I'm not so sure that that's quite healthy either. So we have to find somewhere in between, right? The other problem that we have is like compulsive buying, right? So in order to be happy, I'm going to go shopping. Because when I go shopping and I buy a new outfit, or I buy a great pair of shoes, or a purse, whatever it may be, it makes me happy. I feel good. It eliminates my stress, and I'm just doing my little happy dance. The problem is, are you still doing your happy dance when the bills come, right? So looking for short-term solutions tends to cause long-term problems. So the idea is, can we begin to go inside? Can we learn about what we are holding on to? What are those messages that we replay in our mind over and over again that are keeping us from being financially stable? Hard to imagine that we would do that to ourselves, right? And then there are relational money disorders. So we've probably all experienced this to a certain amount. It's this idea that we're not really willing to be honest about money matters. So I can even remember growing up, kind of a funny story, my mom would take me out shopping for the day. But the deal was I had to put everything away really quick when we got home, and I couldn't tell my dad that we went shopping. So here was my mom. She was about part of those 39% who thought it was okay to lie about money in marriage. Well, maybe she wasn't lying. Maybe we were skillfully avoiding the conversation. But imagine that. A little less than half the population believes that it's okay to lie about money in marriage. Nearly 56%, that's over half the population, spend money without telling their spouses. Now that's not like, oh, I'm going to CVS and I'm going to pick up a couple of items, right? But if we're talking about big ticket items, or things that might cut into our budget as a family or as a couple, then that's something that might be discussed beforehand, or even set up as a budget beforehand. And 27% even hesitate at all to have a conversation about money. In fact, that's one of the main reasons why people get divorced, right? Is money issues. And 16% says it's okay to talk about it if it's really big, but I'm not going to talk about it if it's little. I'm not going to come home and say, oh gosh, look at this great outfit I got today, right? Because I don't want to ruffle feathers. So are you willing to talk about what you're doing? Are you willing to let those in the relationships that you have know who you are and be yourself wherever you are, so that you don't have to worry, who did I tell this, who did I tell that? And to be honest, if you can be comfortable being you, you're going to avoid these kind of disorders that we're talking about right now. The idea is to control what you can so you can find balance where you can't, right? So if you read what it says here, the likelihood of having a mental health problem is 3 times higher amongst people who have debt or are financially unstable. So these disorders such as depression, anxiety disorders, low self-esteem, impaired cognitive functioning. These are all mental illnesses experienced by people who find themselves in debt or in unstable financial conditions. It means that when you're feeling this way, it's hard to solve problems. It's hard to focus because you're really upset about, am I going to be able to pay this bill? Am I going to be able to put food on the table? Well, guess what? You don't have to be that way. Financial stability is a solvable issue. And I'm sure you've heard Nicole speak about that tonight as well. There are things that we can do to put ourselves in a position to live within our means and to embrace the person that we are, not needing to be something else, not needing to have something else, but who we are and where we are is good enough. So, are you ready to make that happen? If you are, there are a lot of things that you can do, and I'm just going to make a few suggestions for you tonight. But please, if you're having a difficult time doing this for yourself, there are people out there that can help you, and I'm one of those. I'd be happy to talk to you. I'd be happy to offer you a free consultation. All you need to do is visit my website at ediecaine.com and contact me from there, and we can talk to each other about how we can develop a program so that you can be financially stable, so that you can live a happy and productive life and feel really good about it. So having a great life encompasses a lot of different things, right? So it's all about financial stability, being able to make a difference or have a purpose, the power to choose, not letting others make decisions for us, to be in committed, caring relationships, to develop healthy habits, taking care of ourselves, not just physically, not just what we eat and the exercise we do, but how are we thinking and how are we taking care of the way that we think, right? Are we growing? Are we challenging ourselves so that we can grow? Are we willing to get ourselves out there and have new experiences and new adventures? And are we engaging in things that are challenging and enjoyable in our work life? All of these things can lead us to a fabulous life. So if you're looking for a way to kind of bring yourself back and restore some of that feeling of balance and ease, there are 3 different ways I'm just going to bring up today, and I'm sure you've heard of all of them. Meditation, fabulous. Studies have proven that not only does it impact the neurotransmitters in your brain, so it totally rewires your brain, but I promise you, even after just 5 minutes of meditation, you will have a mental reset. You will automatically feel a little bit less stressed, you will feel a little bit more balanced, and you will have that sense of, who doesn't want that, right? So meditation is really easy and it's very accessible. There are all kinds of YouTube videos that can talk to you about meditation and different ways of going about that. You can also, again, visit my website, and I have a whole page devoted and some videos there that might help you out as well. So certainly, highly recommend meditation as far as relieving stress and building self-confidence and self-esteem. Exercise is another way that we can do the same kind of things for ourselves. We know that our endorphins get going and pumping when we're exercising. So whatever it is that you like to do, going for a walk, going for a run, doing yoga, going to the gym, maybe going for a bike ride, it really doesn't matter. It could be cleaning the house, right? Whatever you're doing, getting your body going, moving around helps make you free. I once actually had somebody say to me when I was commenting, I was saying, maybe I'm getting a little too old to keep running. And they said, oh, you can't stop because running has set you free. And every time I get out there, whether I'm walking or running, my mind is free, my body is free, my soul is free. So an excellent way to de-stress. Journaling is also fabulous. Right before we go to bed at night or right before we wake up in the morning, jot down 3 things that you're grateful for. It'll make you feel positive not only about yourself and your day, but if you're on your way to sleep, you'll feel great as you pass off into sleep. And if you're waking up in the morning, you'll say, gonna be a great day. So these are just a few simple suggestions for how you might be able to start to turn things around for yourself, to gain a little self-confidence, to build a little bit of self-esteem, and to know that it is within your power to take control of your financial stability and live the life that you desire. I'd love to talk to you further, so please don't hesitate to reach out if I can be of further help to you at ediecaine.com. And it gives you, my website will talk to you all about different services that I offer or ways that you can learn a little bit more about me and about yourself as well. So again, I'm sorry for not being able to be with you tonight, but I appreciate you listening and have a wonderful evening.